How many of you saw this video?
Time to act is. The time to act is.
A new political party in Nigeria was formed. They call it the Coalition. This party was formed to fight against Tinubu ahead of the forthcoming election in 2027. We all saw different presidential candidates, governors, we saw powerful political figures, but somebody was missing in that coalition, Mr. Sowore. And today I'm going to be asking him why he was not part of the coalition. Is it that he doesn't believe in it, or is it that he was not invited for it? Sir, over to you.
I don't believe in the coalition, and I was never invited for it because there's no way anyone could have invited me to participate in crime against Nigerian people. And I must make this very clear that I do not also believe in the current coalition, which is the APC. And the interesting part is that the people that are now behind the formation of this coalition were mostly the people who formed the APC. And they are just, as usually, organizing themselves again to snatch power in 2027. My interest and the reason why I got involved in politics was to help the Nigerian nation get to a better position, or to get to a position that it has never attained since independence, which is to be a nation that everybody can be proud of, a nation that has made progress, that can bring about prosperity and real peace. But these individuals who are in this coalition are the people who brought Nigeria to a sorry state now, in various capacities as governors. Let me tell you, the chairman of the coalition now, the officially recognized chairman, is David Mark. I knew about David Mark when I was in secondary school. He was the military governor of Niger State, I think, if I'm correct. I got to study him in a quiz. In I think in secondary school, even primary school. It was a long time ago under the military. So you can imagine that when I was a teenager, this guy was a military governor in one of the states. And now that I'm a full adult, 54 years old, I still have to contend with an individual like that. Whereas his age is not my problem. I have a problem with the age of their ideas, these people in this new coalition. And that if you are governor, you have been in position for 8 years, did nothing. You are vice president, you were in position for 8 years, did nothing. You are former minister. Some of them have been minister and governors. People like Amechi. Amechi was governor of Rivers State for a long time, I think almost 8 years. Refusal was governor of Kaduna State for 8 years. He had been minister under Obasanjo for about 8 years at the FCT, which is like a governor as well. So he's combined. This guy has been a governor for 16 solid years. Nothing has been added. A lot has been taken away from the Nigerian people. So I can't even be found in the company or gathering of these people. I have stated it somewhere, and I'll restate it here, that if I sit across the table from some of them, I might be forced to act out of character. So it is how terrible I feel about these guys. And a lot of people might have the argument that, in order to work and make Nigeria great, you have to work with good and bad people. No, bad people don't make countries great. Only good people do. And great ideas make countries work. So, and they have tested their expertise, they tested their ideas. The Nigeria that you and I are feeling bad about was created and sustained by these characters. So nothing to associate with them. I can't be found in their company, like I said earlier.
Okay, so before we started this interview, I posted a picture of the both of us, and I actually told people to anticipate this very interview. I skimmed through the comment section and I found something interesting. Somebody say, why would I interview you? That you have nothing good to say about anyone other than yourself. What do you have to say about that? They say you don't speak good about other people.
Well, it is the opinion of a person who probably haven't heard about several things I've said. I've said very good things about good people, and I always have terrible things to say about bad people. That's true. So if the person has not come across something good I said about people, that means the person has listened to me talking about bad people. And they also might mean that statistically and politically speaking, there are more bad people than good people. So the person owes himself and myself and all of us a duty to now put in place people that we can be talking good about.
Okay, now some people, now I want, before I ask this question, let me ask something else. What do you think about this coalition? What do you have to say about it? Do you think it will work? The aim is against President Tinubu. These people apparently do not believe in his government, and they believe that they can bring change not just to governance but to Nigerians.
I'm diametrically opposed to President Tinubu as well. In fact, I don't think there's anyone in the coalition that would say he can express, and hatred is a strong word, that I hate the Tinubu regime more than I do. But my suspicion is that a lot of people in the coalition don't actually hate Tinubu. They hate progress. And what Tinubu represents is lack of progress. What they represent is lack of progress. And I dare say, and I have the suspicion that some of them are actually working to help Tinubu win the election in 2027. Because why? Most of the people in that coalition were and are still Tinubu friends. They were in the same political party, and some of them are still in his political party. They have not even resigned. So to now turn around and say that you want to fool people by claiming that you want to change Nigeria, I hate the way they abuse the word change, because the more they use it, the less things change. And I just can't stand people who bandy around words that are very, very critically important for national development in such very careless and backward manner. They just use this change as if it's supposed to mean the opposite of what it is. But I think they use it to mock the Nigerian people. That's what I think. But most importantly, I do not believe, and this is me, and this is not conspiracy theory, that these people are not working for Tinubu.
Okay, in a layman's language, what you are trying to say is that Tinubu's associates deliberately joined this coalition to trick people who intentionally want to get rid of Tinubu in 2027.
Impression that there's a coalition opposed to Tinubu, whereas majority of them underground are with Tinubu.
They just want to ruin
to prevent the Nigerian people from getting angry enough to form their own opposition to the government. So they put together this fake opposition to the government, and they know when they were putting this together that people will question their credibility, pedigree, and integrity, and they know that they are lacking in all these departments. So what do you think will happen? People will look at them and look at Tinubu and say, the devil we know is better than the angels we don't know. But this is not just the devil we know. The devil we know is better than the devils we know. These are well-known devils on both sides of the spectrum. And I just feel terrible, and I feel bad, and some Nigerians fall for it. The ones who just naively think that, here comes another, set of people who are interested in developing Nigeria. But all you need to do is to do a quick scan of their names, their backgrounds, their history, and their pedigree. It'll tell you who is in the coalition. David Mark is their chairman, former military administrator, former Senate president for 3 terms. Who is there? Malami Abubakar, Buhari's attorney general, who has been accused of corruption, violation of human rights. Who is there? Nasir El-Rufai, the man who buried 300 Shiites overnight in Kaduna in shallow graves. The one who said he brought in bandits and paid them Fulani herdsmen, openly confessing to it. Who is there? Amechi, the guy who tried unsuccessfully to build a monorail in Port Harcourt that never worked. The one who built train lines that are derailing on a daily basis. Who is there? Peter Obi, the third-rate governor of Anambra State, fraudulently packaged to be a performer, who confessed that he has never built a school that is working, has never built a hospital that is functioning, who had invested state funds that are supposed to use in developing instead in his own private business and gone away or gotten away with it. Who is there? I can't tell you how many of them I know who, if the country of Nigeria were to be a sane country, they will be languishing in jail for both financial and financial crimes and crimes against humanity. The kind of crimes that will make people not to even be tried in Nigeria, but tried at the International Criminal Court, like the one they did against Shaz, the massacre of persons that happened in Zaria. So these are the people you have in this coalition. These are the people who are in the ADC. These are the people who told you, and some of you, naively, and I would say, and I don't want to mince words, that foolishly believe that the same people who put you in the dish and had put a concrete on it are going to come and take your dead bodies out and resurrect you. I don't know how we think, but that's the story of Nigeria, but this is another tragedy waiting to happen. But whichever way you look at it, if you go with the APC, it's tragedy. You go with the ADC, it's tragedy. And somebody has intelligently put it that if you put APC, you get a result the same as ADC. All you need to do is to change the P letter, standing upside down or standing upright. You get the same result, APC and ADC.
Wow, that is something I'd never even looked at in that way.
Yes.
No, how many of you saw that video of Peter Obi sharing rice in a party? That video got a lot of Nigerians laughing. And we've all seen videos and pictures of other politicians roasting corn, helping old people fetch water and all of those things. But we don't see these kinds of pictures and videos from you. Why is that? But you're on the same political ambition as these other politicians. Why are you different?
Politicians do foolish things, and they do it based on what they consider to be what can fool people the most. Sometimes they do it to entertain, and sometimes they also do it to prove that they are humble. And what I will tell you is that there are sometimes people do things genuinely for humility, but the question you should ask is, why is he doing it now? So if you want to be a waiter at a party, if you're doing it during election cycle, you are a baby kissing politician, and that is known worldwide as a trick. If you are suddenly, like Amechi did in Port Harcourt, helping women to plait their hair, everybody understands why you are doing it. Or you suddenly discover that you can eat roasted corn and eat it on camera. Everybody, I think what people should understand is that Nigerians are smarter now than this. I have done things I would tell you that I would never be proud of, even when I ran in 2019. And part of it is going to churches and going to palaces. And I stopped it in 2023. When I ran in 2023, I promised myself I would never go to church to seek the blessing of a pastor or have anybody place their hand on my head to prove that they have dominion over me, whichever way they call it, or go to a palace to go and prostrate for a king. If I don't do it now, I won't do it again. But in the past, sometimes when you're doing campaigns, people will say, why don't you go find votes wherever they are? But I think there are enough people there who genuinely want progress in the country that don't need you to play tricks on their intelligence. So that is the difference. So the thing is utter foolishness to be serving food at parties just because you want the election to be won or to become an emergency philanthropist. Anytime you see philanthropy that is, outwardly publicized during election circles, you know what it's about, and the people know what it's about as well. And you know yourselves that the moment they get into power, not only will they not serve you food, you will never eat again. because that's what politicians are about. Take your food away from you. And that's what they've done perpetually since they came into our political lives. So if you like, you fall for it. If you like, don't, But I advise you, look for substance, not superficial humility.
Okay, Mr. Sowore, the thing is, a lot of Nigerians love you. I mean, in 2019, the whole nation was talking about you. But apparently, things changed when Peter Obi came out to express his interest in running for the presidential election. And Nigerians shifted their focus from you to Peter Obi. Now, people are curious why you have not formed any alliance with Mr. Peter Obi. I think that public opinion is saying that if the both of you come together, Nigerians will be willing to throw in everything to support the both of you. Why have you not considered this? I mean, you believe you are standing for the youth. Why can't you do this for us?
One thing I would never do in my life is to fool people based on falsehoods or miscalculations that could mislead people into believing what they should never have believed in the first place. The same thing was said of Buhari, that everybody was supporting him. He had 12 million votes in the bag. He ran 4 times before he eventually won. It's the same thing. The youth want him. The honest people love him. He fooled everybody. And here we are. He had 8 years that everybody is hoping would never repeat itself in their lives. And it's the same thing with some of the words I'm hearing from you. Like, oh, somebody wants this to happen. Statehood or political progress is not done by wishful thinking. You can't just say, oh, you should go and join this person because some people made up a story that he's who he's not. I have stated this and I'll keep saying it again. I have 2 problems with the people you have described. One is that I don't try to fit into expectations. I don't want people to see me as who I'm not simply because I want to be a people's pleaser. If I wanted to please people, I would never have done politics. I'll be selling ice cream. So that whenever people hear of the bell, they will know that here comes the ice cream man. The second aspect of my life is that I think people don't understand me until it's too late. So I'm way ahead of my time. So I think in 2019, I was the one talking about 100,000 minimum wage. You remember what they were saying? That it will cause inflation. Sowore doesn't know economics. And we are in 2025. Nobody has reached 100,000 minimum wage, but the politicians are earning maximum wage. And everybody wish that we were at 100,000 in 2019 of minimum wage, because by now life would not have been as terrible as it is for them. This is 2025. In 2023, I proposed a minimum wage of 250,000 naira. And even now, that is not sufficient. But the Nigerian people who were on social media and online making fun of me in 2019 are wishing that they have a minimum wage of 500,000 naira now. Those who were mocking me are the people who really needed a minimum wage. So I'm just giving you that as an example so that we have an understanding of my trajectory in life, and that I also do not worry about what the majority people are doing if it is not based on facts and is not grounded in ideology and is not sustainable. So when people say to me, oh, here comes the crowd, go and join them, the first question I ask myself is, if I join the crowd, is the crowd doing what is right and just and fair? If they are not doing it, I will stand where I am, even if I'm the person there all alone, because I feel better that way than to be part of a crowd that is here to scam you. So that's always the case. And
Are you saying this out of pride, or are you saying this out of fact?
It's fact. The first thing I do is to judge people based on precedents. I judge them based on background. But there's also a difference between me and so many of the decisions that are made by an average voter in Nigeria. My facts are very empirical because I've been a journalist and an investigative reporter for a long time as the owner of Sahara Reporters. And I have said it openly that I personally wrote over 5,000 stories about corruption. About all there's none of these politicians that you see now that I have not written stories about their corruption. I was the one who wrote and exposed how David Mack lost £6 million in a divorce proceeding in the UK. Most Nigerians don't know that. And that money was taken from you, and he lost it to a woman that he divorced named Victoria Mack. Most Nigerians don't know. I was the first person to report that Peter Obi drove 250 million naira to Apapa, and the police seized the money from him. I was the one who broke the story. But most people don't know that. And when you tell them, they say, no, it doesn't matter. So I was the one who reported what El-Rufai and a guy named Jimilawa, his sidekick, were doing with monies that were taken from the FCT. In fact, some of my stories led to his being arrested and prosecuted by the EFCC at that time. I was the one who did a story about Malami when he was stealing money and buying houses in this Abuja under the Buhari regime. So mine is not just about hearsay. Mine is empirical evidence that is watertight to such an extent you can take it to court. I was the one who did all the stories most of the stories on Emefiele that has now led to his being prosecuted. So even when they were unwilling to prosecute him, I kept talking about it even when I stopped writing Sahara Reporters, and it was just a matter of putting out my opinion on social media. So these are people that I know up close and personally. So it doesn't matter how you try to wiggle it. You can't convince me to be part of what is wrong. As I told a friend of mine, you cannot invite me to join an armed robbery gang, and when they are caught, I can't say, oh my God, it's my friend that told me to do it. The first thing the judge will ask is, are you not an adult? Can't you take decisions for yourself? That's the way it is. And that's the way I see them. I see them as a criminal gang that is waiting on the wings to take over power from another criminal gang. But in this case, I am convinced that a lot of them are actually not interested in taking over power. They are just preventing the Nigerian people from creating their own coalition that could be about real, fundamental, radical, revolutionary change. And I've asked those of them who you mentioned from the Obi side, in 2022, what did you tell the country in selling Obi to the public? That you cannot join in with groups of criminals, the Atikus of this world. So how did you find your way back into the criminal gang you so much denounced in 2023? Upon which some people actually believe that you are clean and pure. So, but it was all a lie. It was a lie in 2023. It's still a lie in 2027. I was the one who told you that the Labour Party was an Airbnb in 2022. Where's the Labour Party today? They have abandoned the Labour Party. They have even started campaigning against the Labour Party to the extent that they are asking their members to unfollow the Labour Party handles on social media. That was the Labour Party that they were gaslighting everybody to join in 2022 and 20. If you didn't join the Labour Party in 2023 and 2020, they cancelled you. You remember, right? But now, imagine that I followed them to join the Labour Party in 2022. Now they will be dragging me to go and join another party, another coalition in 2025. If I did all that, and if you look at me, how would you see me? How would you see me if I said El-Rufai was a criminal in 2023 and I'm in bed with him in 2020? Even in 2022, these same people, the Obedience, the Peter Obi people, they were in bed with Wike when they thought he would support them in 2022. All of them went to the Port Harcourt government house to go and meet Wike. And they were all yummy and chummy with him and came out. The moment he didn't support them, he was an outlaw. So one thing I want to say is that I hate hypocrisy and hypocrites with the same passion as I hate thieves, as I hate politically dishonest people. Hypocrites are as bad as any of the political vices you and I can think about. And I can't stand being part of those. So there is no common ground, and I don't want to keep talking about this, but anytime I'm asked, I make my position very clear because I'm doing it for history. The easiest thing is to be part of them and win in some ways, but I don't want to win and lose at the same time. So it just doesn't make sense that I come this far only to win, so that everything that I stood for, I will lose it. It's just not who I am.
Now, there's something about this coalition a lot of people are not talking about. It was difficult to find a young person among those among the coalition.
It's because the people in the coalition have understudied the young people of Nigeria, and they know that they lack ambition. They know that a lot of them lack the drive, the passion, and the ambition or the hunger to change their country and look for something concrete with it. A lot of Nigerian youth are comfortable with being special advisors to people that they are more intellectually sound or educated than. So they've looked at you and discovered that, these Nigerian youths are people we call NFA in those days, no future ambition. So when they're holding their real meetings, no young person. But when it's time to distribute the uniform and their face caps, you become the signboard. And when it's time to distribute cordials and machetes and guns, they will need you. But when it is time to take very, very serious, important decisions about your future, they don't need you. Does that make sense? That young people are no longer at the table when, as a matter of fact, the people that fought for independence in Nigeria were people below the age of 30, mostly. The Azikwe's, the Awolowos, the Bola Iges, the Nahuros, the Wole Soyinkas, they were in their 20s. But look at it now. The Nigerian political system is in the geriatric department. This is for old people. Like I said, no problem with old people, but I have problem with old ideas.
Wow. So for those of you who have been showing curiosity to know why Mr. Sowore was not part of the coalition, I hope this interview satisfies your curiosity. And let me know in the comment section where you stand. Who are you going to be voting for in the 2027 presidential election? I have another interview section that I'll be holding with Mr. Sowore to ask him about his interest in the forthcoming election. Will Mr. Sowore be contesting for the presidential election, or will be aiming for something lower? So, so because people have been saying it, that why don't you run for Senate? Why don't you run for House of Assembly or something? So, don't you think we could have a section talking about that?
Well, there's no conversation about what I want to do with my life, and I have said it that a lot of people might have diseases that are known as inferiority complex, but I am at liberty not to be infected with it. So I've quarantined myself from that since I was a child, that I would never go for something that is below par and for which I will have no impact or that cannot help me make or others make progress. That's been my decision since I was little. It is the reason why when my dad said I should go to a state university, I opted for a federal university, the University of Lagos. When I arrived in the US and everybody was saying, if you want to do your master's, go to one of these state schools. I opted for an Ivy League to do my master's, Columbia University. An Ivy League in the U.S., an Ivy League college is one of the top best universities in the U.S. And there are 3,000 universities in the U.S. So I've never opted for something inferior or lower. And I can understand people who feel that way. It is difficult to have this kind of ambition that I have, to always go for the best, when you have always been told your entire life that you are nobody, you are useless, and then you have now then internalized that complex. Yeah, so, but if you have it, let's come together and let me help you cure it. That's all I can say.
Right. Thank you so much, sir, for this interview session. I also wanted to have another session with him to discuss about fuel. Brothers and sisters, what is going on in Nigeria? A lot of us have come to just accept the fate of fuel in Nigeria. Fuel in Nigeria is now 900 naira per liter, and it was not always this way. As of 3 years ago, fuel in Nigeria was it 200 naira or 250 naira?
I think, I don't remember exactly, but I know it was less than 300 naira.
It was less than 300 naira, and life was easy.
Yes. It is sad that Nigerians just let that slide. And, I was part of the group in 2024 August. And another August is coming, by the way. And I set up what was known as End Bad Governance. And we protested for 10 days non-stop to ensure that these decisions were reversed. Because nothing has dealt a bigger economic blow against Nigerians than the sudden increase in prices of fuel, what is known as gasoline, and also a sudden devaluation of the naira. So you are pointing, the Tinubu regime pointed a double-barrel gun at Nigerians, and it did the perfect havoc, which was one, to decimate the ability of an average Nigerian to go about doing their small businesses and surviving, and secondly, to decimate their spending power, which is what it did to devaluation of the naira. And everybody is in a parlor state. And the results are very clear. Nigeria was able to successfully push 100 million citizens into what is known as multidimensional poverty. And you can see it all around. Very terrible situation in the country. And they lied that whenever this fuel price was increased, they will save money from it and invest in social services for the people, and life will be better. It has been 2 years, and life only got worse here. More people have become poor, and nothing has been provided. Not a single kilometer of highway that I know of, except the scam they are doing in Lagos. They call Lagos Calabar Highway.
Are you of the opinion that fuel subsidy should be removed? I mean, fuel subsidy should be brought back.
Absolutely. Fuel subsidy is the only thing that gets to an average Nigerian. And it is so important because there's nothing you can do without fuel. You can't move around. You can't turn on your generator. You can't even grind pepper in most places across Nigeria without small petrol to run the pepper grinding machine. So you can't freeze even your ice water, as they call it, because if you don't have fuel, you probably can't run your generator. So fuel is so central to the general economic well-being of Nigeria that it's a subsidy that you cannot afford to remove. And since we removed it, we know the result. The only reason they gave for removing fuel subsidy was that it was a source of corruption. Good news. So you already know it is corruption. So remove the corruption and keep the fuel subsidy going. It's as simple as that. But the reason why they can't remove the corruption is because the people who are doing the corruption are them. And in removing the fuel subsidy, the excess money, revenue they make, goes back to the same people. State governors, president. It was at the time that the president said we should all tighten our belt that he went and bought a jumbo jet. Bought very nice cars. The vice president built a whole brand new mansion for himself. They are doing very well, but the Nigerian people are doing very terribly bad, economically speaking. It is terrible. And I hope that Nigerians, we one day, very soon, just organize themselves to say, look, enough is enough. We can't say this enough.
Please, one of my greatest desire is that fuel subsidy should be brought back, because um I believe that if fuel subsidy is back, life should be improved. Honestly,
Immediately, you will see the results almost take off immediately. Because just the cost of transportation alone is too much, and people just can't carry out the small transactions that they need to survive because they can't even move from one place to the other. And everybody understands that our economic survival levels are still driven by sedentary economic lifestyle. People still have to move from one place to the other. We are not a modern economy. They are the ones who refuse to modernize the economy. They are the ones who refuse to reduce costs by bringing about innovations that could have made some of this life easy. People still, majority of Nigerians still rely on fuel to power, electricity. We rely on fuel to transport ourselves and our goods and some services. Everything.
Hospital, transport, everything you can think of.
Yes, it affects education, it affects health, it affects agriculture, it affects security. Yes. It might sound a little bit tame. There are a lot of police people that will tell you that they can't go and fight crime because there's no fuel in their police vehicles, if they have at all. So that tells you that fuel is so central. Fuel is Nigeria's oxygen, and by removing subsidy from it, you have also taken the lifeline of the Nigerian public away, and that's a crime. It's an economic crime. That's how I want to describe it.
All right, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Lucky Udu Experience. I really appreciate the audio version of this interview is going to be uploaded on Spotify. So go to Spotify right now, search the Lucky Udu Experience, and you'll be able to listen to it. Thank you so much for squeezing out your precious time to have this interview section. I hope that this brings clarity to Nigerians, and most importantly, we are still pleading. If subsidy can be brought back, that is going to really help a lot of people.
That there's still one coalition left that has not been made. The coalition of the oppressed. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You've heard it from him yourself. Do what you can with this information, and see you in the next episode. Bye.